This is a huge deal. A brand new box from Yamaha sent straight to my local dealer, all because I made some unboxing videos on the world's cheapest motorcycles? No, it's because you guys blew those videos up, shared them with your friends, and told me that you wanted to see an unboxing from a real factory motorcycle. But when you get these motorcycles, they are already set up by the dealer to the manufacturer's specifications, so I didn't even think making a video like this would be possible. But then Northern Idaho Power Sports reached out and they said if you set up the bike at our dealer and our techs go over it before you leave the door, we can actually make this happen. This is going to be so wildly cool. I just arrived and someone's unloading a Suzuki right now. And that's how they come in, just like they do when they come to my garage, except the boxes aren't entirely falling apart. This is nuts. The situation is better than we could have ever hoped and dreamed. I've got the brand new 250X in the box, exactly the way they get it at the dealer, in my own dealer booth. I get to set it up at my own pace so I can film with you guys and show you exactly how a real Japanese factory bike comes. They even set me up on the computer here with the manual that they use to see exactly how to set up these bikes per Yamaha's recommendation. All right. Woo! That's a little different than my China bikes. Here she is. This is how they come. A whole lot of room between the edge of the box and the bike. I imagine that keeps these plastics free from scratches, even if the box comes in and pushes in the corner or something like that. The setup is very similar to what you'll see on the China bikes, honestly. Just a lot more secure and a whole of a lot more bike on the inside. This is the 2025 250cc two-stroke, and it only weighs 229 pounds wet. It's liquid cooled, has a 5-speed transmission, and I should mention this is not sponsored. I paid the $8,000 MSRP for this bike. It's been my dream bike since I was a kid. Before I had my own bike, I used to ride on the tank of my dad's two-strokes, and that sound, that power band, I mean, I've been addicted for life.
Well, everyone's gonna go for his first motorcycle ride today. He's 10.5 months old, and my dad made me wait till I was like 10 years old. So, here we go. Going for a ride, everyone. You ready? Give it a kick. Give it a kick.
Yeah, watching my old home videos actually says a lot about how I turned out, I think.
Here we go.
Really, Mama? No.
Next year, he rides his own. Now, if he's like his daddy, he'll prefer the motorsports, but there he goes. He's a riding unit. What do you like? Motorcycle? Big smile for motorcycle? How about bicycle? Oh, ooh, bicycle.
And here we are, 32 years later. My dad was right. I'm more obsessed with motorcycles than ever before. So let's see what we have in this crate. I haven't even taken a bolt out of this steel crate yet, and I'm already noticing some niceties that you don't get on the cheaper bikes. See this rubber around the strap? Just so you don't scratch your handlebar mounts. Fancy. Quick question for you guys. In my videos, I call this the goodie box. What do the professionals call it?
The box of parts that always seems to disappear right when you need it.
That is a more accurate description. So we have a real paper manual, thick. I like that. You don't see that all the time. Our plate. Got some hardware, looks like to hold some body pieces on, and a couple zip ties. Each bolt had a fixed nut on the piece of steel, which made removing this crate super easy. So as expected, the packaging was a lot safer and easier to disassemble than any of the China bikes I've reviewed on this channel. And there it is, our first clean look at this thing. I love the new Yamaha seats. Really clean look. We'll see if they're also comfy later. This is just a good looking bike. They have a mini crane setup going on here. And the guy said what they like to do is put on the handlebars and then crane it up to put on everything else. And that makes so much sense. I've dropped a few bikes in my video. Next time. So that's nice. I'm gonna need to figure out if I can set up something like that in my garage. All right, let's see how the bars come. Looks like our front brake comes off of the bars. So we have our throttle and we have our clutch already there. These must be the spacers for the front wheel. And as you can see, even though this bike is a 2025, it is still very simple, which I like. I'm obviously gonna be working on this thing myself, and I don't wanna deal with all this weird EFI computer, oh, the screen isn't syncing up. Like, that's not what I bought a dirt bike for. I bought a dirt bike to ride. I wanna spend the least amount of time wrenching on this thing as possible. Just a carburetor, a simple 2-stroke engine, and a kickstart. That's all I need. And it's so cool that Yamaha is still making a bike this simple in 2025. All right, I've unearthed one little thing for you guys and one major thing for you guys. First of all, more often than not, the China bikes have this system here, right? So you know where your bars are, left to right, you know they're even, but the clamps go directly over them. They're always like here. Not only is that narrow stance not as strong, but then you can't see the whole graphic on where to put your bars. So what's the point, right? It was to be expected, but Japan does this a little differently. I'm just gonna start zeroed out and move on from there. So I tightened the bars and started rigging up the crane the exact way that the Yamaha techs told me that they do it. I realize I'm all giddy like a kid in a candy store. My dad and I seriously used to go to the Yamaha dealer in town like once a week just to look at the bikes and the snowmobiles and the quads. We just hang out there and then go home. So to be here doing this and being able to film is pretty wild. The first place I'm gonna take this bike is to my dad's place, ride it around, because that's pretty special to me personally, and I think he'll think it's really cool too. So let's hoist this thing. Woo. All right, let's see what Yamaha officially wants us to do with this thing first. You've got your key, what's what, some warnings, what's in the goodie box. They call it a carton box. Install the collars with their projections A facing the wheel. Well, this is them. And judging by this graph, the projections are this little rim up top. Here's Yamaha officially telling me that the way I set up bikes is wrong. Perform procedures in the order indicated by the number. 1, handlebars. 2, front tire. 3, fender. I wonder what Yamaha would say about these little Chinese bikes though, because it's pretty hard to fit that fender in there sometimes after you put on the front wheel. But let's do this one Yamaha style. Most everything here was extremely typical, anything from a mountain bike all the way up to a high performance dirt bike, but I did see something new that caught my eye. This axle nut is pretty cool. One, the spacers fit into this bushing, so it'll be protected and it's easy to install. But 2, this axle nut here actually sticks out past this before that next bushing. I wonder if that is stronger or something. The guys are busy right now, but I'll have to ask them about that later because that's a cool design I haven't actually seen before. Bum, bum. Look at that. Metal spacers already installed. Also, I'm willing to bet that these holes just line right up, which is a first for me on setting up a brand new bike. Here's another little nicety. Obviously, I'm not comparing the bike itself to a China bike, just the way it's packaged, because it's a whole different situation and these start at like $7.5 grand. But look at this little plastic piece right here. Guarantee you that's a spacer, so you don't put your front brake too close to your throttle. It's the little things that cost maybe 2 cents more but make it that much nicer that I'm always surprised the China brands aren't doing. Look at how massive these forks are. Twice as big as any of the Amazon bikes, for sure. All right, these things feel smooth. It is a cable clutch. Obviously get hydraulic on something like the KTM, but that's a whole different kind of expensive right there. So what is next? We got this sorted out. So I guess we just need to put the rubber on, and we lubricate it with lithium soap-based grease. Not only was this clutch already greased, but the text told me that it's super common for things that are in the manual to already be done before the bike is packaged. What I needed to do with the clutch was just back this out to a neutral position so I could go either way when I'm out on the trail, and then put these covers on. And next we have the number plate, so I'm gonna lower her down, put her on her own 2 feet, and then we are basically ready to rip. Jeff came in to tell me a better way of going about it. Before you lower the bike, you lift up the back wheel to get it over the steel it came in, and then you lower it down all the way to put on the number plate. Makes a whole lot of sense. I definitely have to figure out a way to get one of these in my garage. And then it was just a few odds and ends and this thing was done. The foam pad going over the handlebars has these zip ties that are the exact length they need to be, so they perfectly come to a closed end and they're reusable. Pretty cool. So when you guys are doing it, how long does it take you start to finish?
With us, we can get one of these built in PDI in about an hour.
And do you normally each take on a bike, like if you get a bunch of shipments in, or do you just both get on one and bust it out?
We just build our own.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was gonna ask you, this axle nut coming out and then meeting up with the bushing, is that a strength thing?
It's pretty much just the spacer. If they put a bigger spacer on there, it kind of makes it hard to seat the forks in the right place.
Yeah, it has to line up perfect, like every other bike I've ever set up. But this one, you just slide it in.
Yeah, basically what you do is you want to tighten the axle first, and that'll put the axle right where it needs to be. Put enough pressure on that bearing and everything that you need there. And then you want to tighten down these 2 10s over here. What that'll do is seat this piece. Because this collar is here, this side will always be in the right place. And then once you get over here, you kind of wiggle it back and forth. Some people will hold the front brake and slam down on the axle so the fork flexes to where it needs to be. But the main thing you want to do is make sure that the forks aren't tweaked in, because when you're going over bumps, it'll put more resistance on the fork tubes and the suspension won't work right.
So the professionals went through checking my work and also checking Yamaha's work, making sure that I had coolant. They oiled the air filter that's under the seat, held down by this clever bolt behind the Yamaha logo. And I learned that Jeff is quite the legend in the mechanic world. What's this?
So there's 865 dealers in this country, and they've chosen 6 mechanics to compete in this competition. And here, Jeffrey Gibson from Northern Idaho Power Sports, this guy right here.
I think I met that guy.
Right? So if he wins this competition, then he goes to Japan for the Worlds. And yeah, so we're really lucky to have Jeff here as one of the badass mechanics.
Yeah, well, apparently one of the best in the country. That's
apparently so. So we're wishing him luck, and hopefully he wins, and he'll probably never be here again. If he wins, he's going to go work for Yamaha somewhere, right?
Idaho's where I want to stay.
Right, I know, but
I've always wanted to go to Japan. That's the dream trip for sure.
Yeah. So, I'm not really a fan of traveling, but Japan's the only country I ever wanted to go to. Grew up playing Pokemon and all that.
Oh yeah, same.
I'm riding Yamahas. So.
Yeah, same. I'm trying to build up the channel enough to go get the RX-7, the FD.
Yeah.
The rotary. I'm just like obsessed. No, it's not new. It'd be a 30-year-old car I import, so.
I almost bought one of those a while ago.
Yeah, it would have been the move. They've gone up a lot, even the trashed ones. The last thing to do on the sheet was to check the idle, so we mixed up some premix, started it up. everything checked out and I was on my way. Thank you very much. Thank you.
No problem.
Now there's only one thing left to do, and that is to ride this thing. Special thanks to Northern Idaho Power Sports for making this all happen. It's the place to go to get a dirt bike, side by side, even heavy equipment. Check it out. People come from all over to get their equipment here because they have a great staff and they really take care of their customers. Now my first ride, that's just for me. I wasn't worried about cameras, anything like that. And apparently I've been doing too many wheelies on electric bikes with the rear brake up on the handlebars. Forgot where my rear brake was, looped it pretty solid. I don't even know if I'm allowed to show this on YouTube. So I've made a post about it for channel members. You can see the subscribe button now is black, and if you click on it, you can join the channel membership. Work your way all the way up from a PW50 to the dream cars, and we are doing member posts, polls, and early access to videos. I made this as cheap as YouTube would possibly let me, so go ahead and join that. It's the best way to support the channel. And I'm going to start live streaming on Wednesdays, so there will be some extra perks to being a member during the live stream as well. Hit it with the heat gun, took a little bit of that fold out, and here is my second ride with the all-new 2025 250X. Just listen to this angry bumblebee, man. Nothing sounds as good as a two-stroke. You could not convince me otherwise.
Isn't that how you felt last time?
Yeah. But that's why I'm doing it over and over again and just hitting the brake so I remember where it is. I got way into the electric dirt bike tuning Sur-On scene, and I couldn't do loops like this. This is an all-day single track. I haven't been able to do things like this for years, so it's so good to have a reliable bike that I know can keep up with my friends and my battery isn't going to die. It's like I got so obsessed with Sur-Ons, I forgot what I was giving up. My friends took me out to a trail that I'd never ridden before, and our first obstacle was this tree that had fallen straight across the trail. But we made quick work of that, cruised some gravel roads to get to the next trailhead where we were met with an awesome water crossing. From there, it was just beautiful views and amazing riding. I came across an adventure rider that was riding solo. Bike went clean off the trail. He was totally okay, and luckily there was enough of us. We were able to pull this bike back up onto the single track, and he was sent on his way without any real major damage to the bike even, which was pretty impressive. My taillight isn't even messed up. I kind of talked about this before on my dirt bike on the frozen lake video, but it just always comes to mind when I'm editing these videos together. I'm like, geez, this is so much fun. I have all the opportunity in the world to do this all the time, and I just don't. It's like the world values working and productivity so hardcore right now that you just like don't think of it, or you don't say yes when your friends invite you on these kind of adventures. And it's just like, but this is what matters. Like, this is productive to your health, your fun. Like, this is what life is about. Like, if you're young and strong enough to do this kind of thing, it's wrong to not do it. And for some reason, it's like crystal clear when I'm putting these videos together that this is what matters. This is what it's all about. But I mean, in modern day, there's always more work you could do. You could be adding value to your home. There's all these like silly things that aren't as fun or as important as riding dirt bikes with your friends. So yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it there. Definitely stick around for the future live streams. It's going to be really fun. And I have a bunch of really wild, not even motorcycle at all related content coming out, because the whole purpose of this channel is to do the silly things that I want to do. For me, the art of filming, editing, storytelling is probably like my second favorite thing compared to motorcycles. So it all ties together, and I hope you guys like it. Have a good week.